The action went down on Train, and it all went in favor of NRG. We saw some amazing clips and highlights that you'll see across this replay.
Can we just get to the second pistol round?
Yeah, that's all you want to see again and again and again.
Just fast forward to that. Loop it.
Thing is, every frag in that entire round was sick. It was Cirque going ham with the USP, and then we saw good old Zeta jump out and go, I'm just going to get an ace instead. Whatever you can do, I can do better. Get 2 of a Glock, and then I'll pick up the P250 and play you at your own game, boys. But even then, it wasn't enough, right? So now we're going to a third map. Now we're going to Inferno. And I think the main thing is that MVP, okay, it looked acceptable on Train, but they were definitely outclassed.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is, again, one of the, like, high-played maps for NRG. It's not like Dust 2 where we sit there going, yeah, it's not something they play too often. It is. It's something they like to play all the time. And another map where it seems like they've been on a decent streak of victories as well. In fact, they haven't lost it in quite a while. So
they've had a 10-game win streak.
So you sort of look at that.
In a month, by the way.
Yeah, you sort of look at that and you go, if they can beat like the teams that they have been, like again, Bigs in the mix. You got like Cloud9, you got E United, who obviously better than Na'Vi, so obviously they're fantastic. You got Renegades. It's sort of like you expect them to beat MVP.
Obviously better than Na'Vi. They're fantastic.
You know, everybody looks at like best of ones.
Yeah, best of ones mean everything in this. So Inferno, right? It's a map where both teams play it, but it's that crazy disparity in MVP playing against teams in their region, and NRG playing against some of the more capable, say, more experienced teams, right? We see them go up at, like you said, the big game. The one that really shocked me, actually, was the Ghost game from Summit, because I remember watching that, and we've got Ghost in NA Pro League. They've been looking not just heavily strong, but like they grind out games, so you get a lot of 16-12s, 13s, 14s, that kind of stuff. But they're so tactical, and they're so methodical with how they approach it, which is why I was surprised that NRG managed to win that against them. So for me, I'm thinking, cool, NRG, time for you to shine, time for you to make this look an actual convincing game. I don't need to see any of the 16-9 nonsense, but I think it's more what we look to from MVP, right? Because MVP, they've had individual skill shine. They looked like a solid team when it came in terms of, like we said, the refragging and stuff. It's definitely an improvement from the MVP we've seen in the past, but I think this Inferno is a little bit more... It's too much for them, right? It's too bigger a bite to handle.
Yeah, I will say though that it's like there's 2 maps where if I'm looking for Asian team upsets, this is number 2. Mirage is number 1. Mirage is always number 1. Ban Mirage against Asian teams. That should just be like, I don't know, written on like a plaque somewhere and just stuck up in every CS event around the world. But Inferno is another one. Like, it was sort of where we originally saw like Tyloo burst onto the scene. Like, they're very good at bringing a lot of these games close. Like, I think it was even, it was like Boot over at Star Series where they managed to beat Renegades. Like, it's not out of the question.
If Betway was an analyst and they were on their desk, I would call this flip-flopping, because they started off so heavily favoured for NRG at the very beginning. Then we were like, oh, let's give MVP a bit more because they looked good on Dust 2. And now we've got to this reasonable middle ground where we're like, okay, it's still probably going to go NRG's way. But there is a slight hope here for MVP, because despite MVP only playing Inferno against teams in our own region recently, like the only notable game that stands out is a 16-9 loss to MIBR. But that was also an MIBR right at the beginning of their tenure in MIBR, which is they weren't even on form. So imagine what they would do now, right? So I think at least here is MVP, you're practiced on this map. The question is, can you do it against the heavy hitters or the big boys like NRG?
Well, Betway definitely aren't the only flip-floppers currently in this studio. You are currently wearing some.
Yeah, I like to have my flip-flops on, man. I'm pulling a sponge.
It goes very well with the shirt.
Yep, shirt, black jeans. I'm wearing Hulk socks as well, which are bright green, and then I've got some flippy flops on.
Yeah, but you don't have your name on your own trainers. You can never be that cool.
I'm not as gangster as you, Tom. Clearly.
Well, 3-man setup over towards this B site. Normally something you only see towards the sort of beginning of the round, then the rotation comes in. Not NRG. They're just going to stick with it, and they are bang on as the T's are going to come running in. They've already got solo low. That's a nice shot from Ethan. A little snap, and he makes a bit of space for the rest of his team. This is another pistol round going the way of NRG. The fact is, though, it's actually been... Well, what? So they won 2, didn't... No, they won 3, and then there was obviously the quote-unquote 4th that they should have won. But at the same time, they've now made that, what? I'm now struggling. 5 out of 6. No. 4 out of 5. There you go.
Yes.
That really wasn't that difficult.
Quick maths.
Mathematics at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's not a good idea. Actually, just ever. There's statisticians for that. There's a reason we have HLTV. It's so that I don't have to do maths.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Other reasons too. But like, yeah, not the only reason. It's just like we created this website so that Tom never has to do maths again.
It was probably around before you were born or while you were still in diapers.
Yeah. But then again, I was wearing those till I was 16.
An interesting fact for me to learn about you, Tom. I'll make sure to check on you. Now, on that basis, when were you, what year were you born in?
1994.
Oh, okay. HLTV wasn't around then. It was 2000, 2001. Still, you were a kid.
I'm just sat here thinking that you think I'm bold at 17 years old.
You might have been even earlier.
No, it happened when I was about 21 and the tears rolled down my face. Either way, we have got our push coming in towards the site. It's obviously some pistols here. They're going to look to try and get nice and close, but Breezy makes it look easy. I'm sure no one's made that pun before.
You already made it on the previous map.
Shut up. Zeta, left alone. 1v5. I am hilarious and original, and everybody knows it. 2-0, NRG. Easy. Easy peasy.
I thought you were going to do the ABC.
I was considering it, but I knew you wanted me to do it, so I had to not. Oh. They've only had 1 death so far, so it really is going very, very well.
I feel like you didn't appreciate my attempt enough then. That was good. I have an ABC, NRG going up against MVP. Boop. If I was really gangster like you and your name shoes, I'd be doing a brap right now. Now, who is very confident for this round, at least, is Daps. He wants to push down and find himself the frags. Breezy getting it done. Coming out into second mid. And Zeph and Zeta, well, Zeta, we know you're a powerful man with a Glock in your hand, but this is a little bit too much for you to handle, I believe. Some money made for Ethan. Can he get another one? He did. The thing is, Zeta still walks away dinking him in the face with a Glock regardless.
Yeah, he was a little bit more quiet, actually, in the first map, surprisingly, the one that they won. Then in the last, he was excellent.
Even without the ace. Even without the ace.
Yeah, no, without the ace, he was still, I mean, may have even still been top fragger in the server. Like, he really did have a fantastic second map, even though they lost, so.
Use that stat website you love so much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Find it out.
I do all
Let us know.
All of this from memory.
Of course. Of course.
He was second, circ 26 and 12.
So the only person I can honestly say does all of that straight off memory and in stats is Foreign, because he's literally so accurate with it. I still ask him stuff from like back in the day, like the very beginning of CSGO, the end of 1.6, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember when this happened, and I'm like, oh God. I wish I could like hold all that information in my head.
I don't know. I think there's plenty of things in my life I'd like to forget. The look on your face says that maybe the same is there for you. Either way, it is 1 minute 20 left on the clock. It is the purchasing at the moment from the T side. They've got those AK-47s and a bit of a bonus in for NRG. Not that they really need it. They've got plenty of cash. I believe Ethan has given an AWP over to Cirque as well, so he even has a bit more. Now, so far, I believe it's only actually been 1 kill for the whole team. Oh, no, wait, 2. Sorry, my mistake. 2 kills for MVP so far. So go hope for a little bit more than that. Yep.
Thank you, Bastion.
Thank you. Didn't need that pointed out. Cheers.
He's trying to stay awake. He's keeping himself going. He believes that bringing up the scoreboard and looking up and down every now and again, pointing out the obvious.
Pointing out I'm wrong.
He can't even draw on the map. Before I used to make him draw on the map and let me know things, but now he can't even do that because obviously Valve still don't care about CS. Give us panorama, but take functions away from us.
Push into the side. Nice spray from Ethan. Doubles down, and while it's looking like there may not be any deaths at the moment, finally Zeta will add 1 more to his tally of 2. And Fugly just waiting around the corner. The problem is the time.
Yeah.
They literally can just go for the bomb denial if they want to, but the fact is, even then, well, I was going to say they're in a 4v2. Make that just 3. This is actually looking a little bit more possible.
Oh
Zeta again. He is just the man to try and turn things back at the moment for MVP. Wanting another ace into his hand. Solo is there to support him.
Oh, Solo's in such a good spot. 4 kills for Zeta. Now it's all up to Breezy. And does he go for this or does he back away? He would be hopeful that they're low. He spent his utility already, and Zeta's looking to get the ace, but Solo, he's like, no, you're not doing it again. I must be relevant in this round still. 3-1. But MVP, when Zeta pops off, the stars align for them. That may be Astralis' tagline, but I think Zeta might just take that for himself.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Another brilliant round from him, but the fact is there's the asterisk there, because that round was one that really NRG should have won, and it was their bonus round. So now they come back in with an even better buy. They've got the AWP, they've got the kits, they've got the utility, and now things are even more difficult for MVP. Yes, they've got the AWP, and well, there it is. Zeta, again, is going to be kicking things off with the bang, and Fugly's the one who's been banged. Well, the T's now just going to take their man advantage and slow things down a little bit.
Crazy thing is there are weapons Zeta can't use? It's just on point. He's just feeling it.
Revolver.
I wouldn't even put that past him. That just literally requires aim and a little bit of luck on the lining up, because that gun's just...
What about the PP Bison? That takes real talent.
We should do that, right? Get all like the best players in the world. Let's see what Symbol can do with every terrible gun against people.
Yeah. PP Bison.
He was using the Negev on NAFBL the other day. Made it look easy, just going for a little spree. He was just like, he's like, oh, I'm in North America, that's fine.
Shots. Shots and shots and shots. Well, Breezy, he's died once. That was in the 1v2 that we saw moments ago. And from the pit, he has looked invincible, and it's happening again. This time, Ethan's there beside him, and he comes up with a quad of his own. It's the same sort of scenario we saw in the previous map with NRG. Okay, they do lose themselves that 4th round, but they're straight back in with a 5th. Now, well, money, it's a big problem.
And the thing is, right, we can talk about, okay, MVP, they look better on Dust 2, Train, okay, a little bit lackluster, but we expected that, being as it is more favoured for NRG there. But I think the main thing is the rounds that MVP are getting, it takes off some of these heroic plays again, and that's what we didn't want to see them get into. We needed to see that Dust 2, the refragging, the playing as a team, the working together, where at the moment it's, okay, Zeta has a good round, Solo has a good round, occasionally Zion or fucking Globe has a good round, and we come into it. But I mean, the main thing is that NRG at the moment, they are just the better all-rounders. They don't have to rely on that individual play every time. They can play their own game and it still work out for them.
Well, and if they do rely on individual plays, they've got more than one player. So it's like we've seen some great rounds coming out from Breezy, Ethan just now doing exactly the same thing. In the previous map, we had Cirque. We're not relying on just one individual. There's multiple players who are stepping up, and that's not what we saw, at least in the previous map. And so far in this one, again, we've not seen it from MVP. It has been a one-man show. Zeta is the meta. And realistically, at least in this round, I don't think there's anything he could do. Why has he not got a deagle? Give him a deagle. Give him something.
He might have had one and then given it over to someone else, given the fact he's on 8 HP at this point.
It doesn't matter.
Tom's like, nope, doesn't matter. He can have 1 HP, give him a deagle.
He's got more kills than the rest of the team combined.
Oh, okay. Ethan unable to get any more than 2, but he's at least done his job. He's kept him at bay. The main thing is to stop that bomb being planted, and it's currently on the ground. They're going to have to go for it. Spray comes out. Fugly misses the shots, but he was partially blinded. So going to peek around the corner. He gets the kill, but the bomb has gone down, so the money at least has worked out here for MVP. But Zion, it's time for him to try and shine, but Daps says no. As he puts him to bed, he puts that round to the end, and we're going to see 5-1 now for NRG. The buy should be pretty acceptable here for MVP. Yeah, they can buy off that. The question is, do they go for the AWP, though? Because T-side Inferno AWP, it's not the easiest to start working the advantage with. CT side, certainly so, but it's not always required on Inferno. Not at least on the T side.
Yeah, and the thing is as well for them, I don't think that Zeta is by any stretch a bad rifler. So it's sort of like, it's a trade-off. If they feel like they need to... Well, I think it's more used as a counter. I think that's the biggest thing. If there's like an aggressive AWP playing on the other side, which there is, like Cirque does like to take a fair few peeks, then maybe you set up an AWP to try and counter him. Or if you do have somebody who's going to go aggressive and try and take these peeks. But at least in this round, it's Breezy going aggressive. They don't expect it at all. He just sprays down 3 players. Absolutely ruins MVP. Cirque's even there to just add one more and more Zine. Nice connection at least, but he needs 4 more of those.
This is the problem, right? Little things like that NRG do, where they just take that time push. They don't mind risking one player just to get the information, potentially get a frag. Well, in that time, it worked out where Breezy can get 3. That's what just close out this round as well. And that's where MVP don't have an answer to it. The unexpected is certainly never expected from them. They weren't even looking for it.
Yeah, they definitely didn't expect anybody to be that far down middle. And I think it's sort of like... The other thing as well is just NRG just have those players who can make the plays. And the more confidence they gain, the more they're going to make them and the more they're going to succeed. So they needed to be shut down early. Breezy's currently sat 13-2. Ethan, 12-4. They're the 2 players. Like, you look at the rest of the team, 3-3-2.
You're 6-1 up, right? And literally you've got 2 players just going absolutely ham.
Yeah. It is... Daps, Foggly, and Circa just sat there like... Yeah, all right.
Well,
I don't mind.
If you guys die, it's fine. We'll just sit there and play our position. We'll hold strong.
But once again, economy becomes the biggest problem for MVP. They don't have the finances to invest back into this one. They will have the money in the next round, so there's not too much of a worry there. And Zion obviously been getting a few extra kills, so he can afford to do a bit more. Again, this is what I mean, though. With added success, the CTs are just going to continue to do this and just ruin the confidence of this T side. And while it's worked again, this time obviously just against pistols, so not so much of a pain. Zeta still hits actually a headshot through the wall onto Cirque.
Of course.
Doesn't get the kill, unfortunately, but either way, you look at the rest of the team, it's a bit more worrying now that we're in round 8. And he still has more kills than the rest of the team combined. And that's with 7. It's not like he's like doing the last map where he had 20-odd kills. It's a bit scary. Glow's still yet to frag.
Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That's way to lose.
Yep. Yep. At this point, I think we're going to have to see an amazing CT side out of MVP, because we spoke about the T sides already being that little bit of the kind of unknown quantity of how good it will be. It's never been their #1 to where we'd go, yeah, we've seen this crazy strat come out of MVP, right? But I think it's more, at least on Train and on Dust 2, they were grinding out these extra rounds. It's now getting to round 9 and we haven't seen that. It's just 1 round on the board.
Yeah, I don't. That's another like sort of problem with Asian CS as well. It's just like weaker T sides. So I would still give them a chance, but they need to get like at least like 5 rounds or something. You
know the thing with like Asian teams and just how they play their T sides. DSN, who used to play for Fnatic in 1.6, he went to coach Dreamscape. And one of the things he said was like the biggest issue for a lot of these Asian teams is it's not just they are sick aimers. Like he goes, they've got the ethic, they'll work hard on it, but you're trying to change a mindset that's been embedded in that entire scene. Like even when you watch them play against each other, it's this kind of rush down, pure aim style, heavy, basic execute kind of plays. And that becomes a big nuisance to them because you're trying to change almost a habit of a lifetime. It's waiting for the younger talent to come through who maybe have a more tactical approach, but they need to have the right coach or manager or in-game leader behind them. And in-game leadership is certainly something that's lacked for the Asian region for the longest time here. But as we get into more of this round, the bomb may be down and it could be the second round being poured up here. Zine getting the triple at the end as they all try to push him into Banana, and he grabs himself an AWP as a little reward to pass over to Zeta. So a second round finally in play here, and now this is where we got to see him double down and get that third. Chain a couple of rounds together, because make this costly for NRG, right? Don't let them just walk away with this super easy. Yeah, because this is another sort of scenario we saw from MVP. And actually the exact same point where they started bringing it back. They managed to sort of 4 or 5 rounds in a row. This sort of scoreline in the previous map, obviously not really comparable, but still an opportunity to wake up. But yeah, as said, like we do see it from Tyloo very often, where the T sides are somewhat weak and the CT sides, they do pull it back. Obviously there are teams in a little bit of a different state, with obviously communication being probably the biggest issue, but there we go. T-side straight out of the apps. And while Breezy has been fantastic, this time he softens them up for Daps. It is a trade back, but still one that favors, or did favor, the CT side. But Cirque missing his shots gives an opening. And actually, Zeta, now in with the AWP, Solo's found a rifle for himself. This is actually a pretty strong position for them. And the CT side don't actually have any utility to get back in. They've only got a singular flashbang. Again, Ethan's the other player who we've been watching so far as
having a fantastic performance, and he is going to be the first one to make his move. He just about passed the incendiary. He's going to go running into the site, spot Zeta, finds that kill, and knows exactly where Solo is, already doing so much damage onto his opponent, and he's just going to finish things off, making things look absolutely simple.
Without him being on the server. I think one thing you got to say here as well for NRG, like how Ethan played that then is not how you would normally play out that situation. You wouldn't be as aggressive, right? So that's a telling sign on how NRG are feeling in confidence against MVP here. But
he's got 15 kills, to be fair.
Yeah, like you can't doubt that confidence. But I think the main thing is they're lucky they're not playing another game today, because how many times do we see teams, they get a lesser team to play against, right? They come out of the normal habits. They don't play the full force games they would normally do against, say, like a Na'Vi or an MIBR and stuff like that. So at least that's the saving grace here, because I don't want to see NRG come into games tomorrow and be like, yep, cool, we're going to play exactly that style.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like you always have the phrase of like, oh, you need to reset after a loss.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever heard anybody say you need to reset after a win.
And that's the problem, right? Because sometimes you actually should. Because you will, if you play this style of Counter-Strike against an RV, against an Astralis, against an MIBR, you ain't getting away with that.
No.
In that moment in time, it wouldn't matter who it was, they're headshotting you from that pit because you've come straight out in the open, swung wide and tried to spray it down. And this is the big difference, right, between the European and American teams to where we are currently sat in this region. But things are looking better, right? We're starting to see more of the resurgence of, say, Tyloo, for example. Renegade's looking stronger now as well. Good nade damage again.
Yeah, that's something else that is always mentioned on this map. I think if your B players don't have sort of like 200 utility damage by the end of the map, you've done something wrong.
You're definitely doing that wrong, right? You got the incendiaries where you can just put them by logs, keep them locked in, and then what you do is double nade it because it could be a player there, instant kills. Like there's so much potential on Banana and on Inferno, which is why we get some of these crazy moments. And good timing from Cirque, manages to keep himself alive. Nice defense there from Ethan, but he can only get one. Cirque's still going to try and hold strong. MVP seem committed to get into this B bomb site as the smoke goes down, and it's not fully covered, which means Cirque is going to have an angle to play off of here.
This isn't even close to fully covered.
That's crazy. I hope Glow is aware of how bad his smoke is, because you can just see him walk out and be like, you won't see me. Oh, okay, well, Cirque won't see Zeta. That's certainly not what's going to happen. Zeta's back on it again, and while he's still alive, MVP have still got a chance. Bomb's going to get planted now. He tries to force the player away from pushing him from ruins. It's going to be Fugly sat in the back lines there. And they've got the good setup. Glow's going to check on Banana, and he runs straight into Breezy. I'm not going to say he made it look easy, because I'm not you, Tom, but that round became easy for NRG.
Yeah, and it's, again, another one of those scenarios where money just becomes an issue for MVP. They had a little bit sort of kept after the round loss. The bomb plant in the previous helped them significantly, but now, again, they sort of have to take the hit. And it's painful because you get very, very close to, like, diminishing the economy of NRG. Like, it only took, like, one big buy, and then if you win that round, they're really not doing too well in terms of finances. But the round loss, now playing against Pistols, these are the sort of ones where you expect NRG to win it cleanly, and you're right back up against trying to break down that wall again.
And MVP have only broken that wall 2 times thus far. And this round might not be the third either, as Ethan and Daps start off strong. Daps is still quite pushed up within the apartments areas. Breezy's going to take out Solo. He's going to go for some more, and even though Zine drops him down to 14 health, he's still able to find the kill, and Zeph all alone, 3 kills, 10 deaths, soon to be 11. Question is, can he get a 4th kill?
No.
You're harsh. He's got a Glock still. They've been doing all right with Glocks.
But you said question is, so I felt like I needed to answer.
Rhetorical question, Tom. God damn it.
But I still think the answer's no. Unless he comes up against Breezy. Maybe there's a chance there, because he's only got 14 HP. And he has been playing very aggressively. At the same time, he's also right at the top of the scoreboard at the moment, so understandable.
I don't know what Zeph's hoping to do here. Maybe, probably just using the time to talk about the next round.
Yeah, maybe get a kill. They're playing a little bit of a off angle in terms of anybody pushing the other way. Then again, his crosshair placement.
No, he just wants to look at his bike. He's like, can I get on it? Is this PUBG?
This nice little moped.
Meep, meep. And then he died. Brilliant. The horn distracted him. He turned around and Daps ripped off his head. So no kills for Zeph.
But that's exactly what I was saying, though. It's like you now look at the finances of NRG and it's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, they've got no problems with that, right? It's crazy because we speak about Inferno being one of these more slower, drawn-out maps so many times. And actually, this has been going blisteringly fast.
Yeah, the thing is as well, if you looked at, say, Fugly's stats and I told you he had 4 kills and it's round 13, you'd think he's playing bad.
Yeah.
He's got 3 deaths. So he just, not seeing anyone, sort of just sat there going, yeah, guys, if you want to leave some for little old me, that'd be nice. But it's just not happening. It's all about Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan and Breezy just going, I'll push my position this round. Yep. Do you want to push it next round? Yeah, of course, mate. Let's go get some kills.
19-5 and 17-6 at the moment. And even Daps is starting to join them up, though. 10-3, so...
Go on, Daps. Go on. Look at that beautiful beard.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Because wait a second, you can't grow a beard like that either.
I probably could, but I don't think it would work.
I now really want to see that.
I don't.
Someone Photoshop Daps' beard onto Tom Biz's head.
Onto my head?
On your face.
The one, like, just upside down and just...
onto your
almost
face.
Almost look like a bit of a fro.
Mate.
If you do turn that down, it will look a bit more like a fro.
It'd be like refresh.
To be honest, I kind of want to see that.
See, there you go. You didn't want it at first, now you do.
I just want hair. Either way.
You can have mine.
No, thank you. Not that desperate. The look on your face is priceless. Well, T-side completely split at the moment. The CTs have actually abandoned somewhat the B-side, but you just look at the clock. There's 25 seconds left on it to make their move, and they're trying to sort of wrap around, but I think they've left it just a little bit too late. The one thing that could help them is the positioning of the CT side, which is somewhat out of the sight, but the clock is ticking against them now. There's only 10 seconds left. If the bomb goes down, the round ends, but they do find the kills, or at least I say they, Zyne finds the kills.
Zeta in with the plant as well, right in the nick of time. And do you know what? I'd say one thing you got to give to MVP at this point is you can't predict what NRG are going to do. Sometimes they're just rapidly pushing. Then around like this where they've all sat back, you're still checking every corner because you're so worried about where they'll be. And actually here, MVP looks to try and get the third. Zyne chiming in with some more kills. He's on 3, looking for the 4th, but Breezy's having none of it. Starts to push his way around Ruins. He's jumping a little bit too hectic there. Now it's all on Cirque, and he'll just save onto that AWP most likely. There's no need to go for it. It's more about what damage he can do. Smoke's working in his favor. Gets, ooh, unlucky Cirque. That's not a shot you normally miss. But at least he holds on to the big green gun. And doesn't like chickens either.
Well, it's a similar story on both sides at the moment. Like, you look at the sort of bottom fraggers at the moment on MVP, the problem is they also have the deaths
but
to go with it.
One kill. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, Solo was playing, again, excellently in their victory earlier in the day. He has 2. Zeph had a step up as well. He was someone you mentioned in the first half of Dust 2. They need to step up. He did. They need him more now than ever because they are looking to be eliminated from this tournament. So still trying to play confidently. Of course, the CT side, again, their economy on the brink, but we've seen this already. And every time MVP have failed to break them, and also it's right at the end of the half anyway, so breaking them is nigh on impossible.
Yeah. It's one of them things now for MVP where they have to have one of the cleanest CT sides. We speak so often, Tom, about the fact that MVP is a very CT-sided team. That's where they get their comfort from. But I don't think 3 rounds is going to be enough. Maybe they can walk away with a 4th or potentially 5th if they get the next 2 rounds, the last 2 rounds here of this half. But NRG, they're set up and ready. Only 1 player on B at the moment. That's going to be Ethan. Now, the execute comes in, and it's a good execute. The flashes have worked. It's pushed players out of position. But NRG are not committing heavily here to top of mid, right? Quad's not being played aggressively. Arch is being played quite defensively, even by Cirque. So MVP get to this point, right? Time's already ticking down, 45 seconds, and MVP are just kind of in like limbo because they're still not able to get onto the site just yet. Daps is in a very strong position. Can he get some damage done? It's Fugly all the way so far. Breezy gets 1 as well. Solo is not going to be enough this time around. 11-3 and 24 frags up on Breezy. He's like, cool, give me my first half medal, and I'll be taking the second half too.
That's the thing at the moment. That I don't think I've seen them kill him in pit once. It's when he goes aggressive that he dies, and that's normally after 3 kills. It's every time he's in the pit, they haven't killed him. They haven't cleared him. Even if they've moved him, like the Molotov actually moved him out of position, he still gets 3 kills. And it's just, I don't know. He's just having one of those games, and I don't think there's anybody on MVP who can do anything about it. Like, Zeta had a sort of decent round at the beginning, but even he's gone a little bit more quiet. And now we sort of sit again with MVP while the finances aren't behind them, but of course they've got to invest everything they've got. They're going to go try and burst out of the pit. This time, Breezy, they don't need to move him out of pit. He's not in the pit. He's moved. Did they kill him?
Yeah,
That's the question.
Will they predict it because he's not in pit, his little defense bubble? He's found 1, he's found 2, he's looking for more. They don't have too much to work with. Solo's managed to sneak around though. Solo's actually in a good... Oh, he doesn't check library. I was thinking like, Solo, he can do some damage here. This is an opportunity. And then Cirque's like, hi. 12-3 though, first half, Tom. And MVP, they've got a lot of work to do going into the second. We'll be going to a quick break, but when we'll come back, we'll find out if MVP can avoid elimination or if NRG will close us out in style. At this point, I would normally say it was the NRG show, but it was more Breezy and Ethan just clicking heads and dominating the Korean team of MVP. They only managed to get 3 rounds on their T side. CT side, we normally say pistols do or die anyway, but this is where it all really comes together for them because it is elimination time. 1 map each. He did well on Dust 2. But Inferno, now it's time to step up, and they start to push their way out here. Very aggressive plays. Glow getting 1, but can't find himself to walk away from Cirque. Zeta, though, pistols in hand, then he's back at it again, Tom.
Fantastic with these, well, with everything, pretty much. And Cirque trying to bring himself to the scoreboard a little bit. He managed to get himself 4 before we saw that fantastic ace, but they've got to be careful. Look at the position of Zine. He's sort of behind, but he doesn't know he's being flanked as his flank. As he doesn't know they're onto the site. Nice shot from Zeta again, and when it's left all onto Daps, managed to retrieve a USP. A minute left, he's definitely getting that bomb done. He even has a Molotov as well, but that does mean he doesn't have any armor.
Ooh. And that's what happens when you've got no armor. Zeta coming in with a triple. on that pistol round, which we'll see MVP secure it. And the question is, if you're NRG, do you now try and force it? Do you try and cause the pain onto MVP?
The thing is, it's sort of like the argument works either way, doesn't it? Because you could go, you're so far in front, why not? Or you could go, you're so far in front, why bother? Like, why not just wait for the buy and then just close it?
That's fair.
Comfortably. So it's more just, for me at least, it's just more of a, what do you feel like doing? Do you feel like you can comfortably win with the SMGs, or would you rather just get onto the AKs? And, well, they've invested a little bit here, but yeah, they'll comfortably be able to buy into the next round.
They went the middle ground of what we were saying.
To be honest, I would still just call this an eco, really, because they get the extra loss bonus. They're coming in with a full buy. It's not like they've gone for a mid buy and they're going to lose anything in the next round. It's basically them just spending extra money, rather than when sometimes you see a half buy, you would say they're spending money that will actually affect them.
No, what certainly affected Ethan just then was a few bullets coming towards him as MVP get a little bit aggressive, at least on Banana. Zeta's pushed his way out towards Log. Zeph's there with the SMG with him. They're trading positions out here because it's better for that SMG to be there close range, and with no armor up on these T-sides, he might be able to get to work. Flash comes out. They do expect this to be the play. He's only managing to get one, but it's Zeta in the meantime who does the rest of the damage. Time and time again here for his team. Daps all alone will pick up the SMG, but he's going to be hunted down. Solo to finish him off. A 5th round on the board now for MVP, and NRG didn't get the bomb down, which was obviously their goal, having the extra utility. Just wanted more money in there. But either way, you've got all AKs now to play with, so it's going to be around that. At least MVP can't really afford to counter in terms of buys here. We're going to see 1 M4, everyone else on SMGs, and the FAMAS up on Solo.
Yeah, this is a hefty bonus round considering they're in such a weak position in terms of the match. Like, normally I feel like a lot of teams in this scenario would go, actually, I want to be comfortable, I want to play with the rifles, because even going into the next round, it won't be a great scenario for them. They are going to play it very aggressively, and, well, Ethan, he's on catch-up at the moment. He's quite far behind Breezy in terms of the frags, so he's going to get himself a comfortable little opener. The utility from the CT side didn't quite do enough to soften them up for the SMGs. And as I was saying, you even look at a buy into the next round, like, you add $1,400, you don't have a purchase.
Yeah.
So it's kind of why, like, I know that buying a rifle up when you already have something, or when you feel like you're in a bonus scenario, it seems risky, and it is. I just feel like it was necessary when you're this far down, and, well, we'll see. Maybe they will have a hero. I think if it's going to be any man, it's the man on your screen.
Yeah, Zeta's come up on top for MVP time and time again. And he does it. Another round in a row. This time with 2 frags for him as Glow pushes down and finds himself the bomb. Breezy straight on the refrag. 2 versus 1, but Zeta on 19 health. Yeah, he's just going to back away. He doesn't want to take this fight. It's not worth him going for. If there was maybe 1 more kill there from Glow, then yeah, that definitely would have been worth it to try and take the fights there, try and make it happen. But this is the best decision he can make with this awkward scenario. And you know, on that previous, or was it, this round where Ethan just runs straight up, right up Banana, he must have had the best spawn going because he was there faster before even really the utility hit. So MVP got a little bit unlucky on that front at the same time because they did hold everyone else back. It was just Ethan was so far ahead.
Yeah, well, definitely causing them some problems.
And these problems is ones they can't afford to have here for MVP because it's slowly time for them to run out of rounds. This will be the 13th on the board now for NRG, and at least if you're MVP, you got to say, okay, what do we do now? Because
the rifle save makes me think they're going to buy. I think without the rifle, they kind of can't. But because he has some extra cash, 3 other players can buy. Zeph will be on an SMG. That's fine. Like, they'll go for that. I think if you remove 1 rifle and then you have 2 players only on 2K, then you really are stuck, and yeah, straight in. Solo's always the man to pretty much tell me if they're going to buy or not because he does it within the first 2 seconds. Which it does make me think that they haven't talked about that at all. He's like, we're buying, lads.
Everyone else is like, dude,
so what do we... Oh, all right.
Don't worry, Solo's got an AWP. Thing is, like, yeah, Cirque's sticking with the MAC-10s, looking to make some money. NRG are just playing it safe, right? They don't want it to get too close. So I guess Solo maybe goes super aggressive and tries and grabs something at Banana, potentially. Zeph's just gone for utility and CZ. I respect that. That makes sense.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of money. I do think somebody could have dropped him like an MP9 or something. I wonder if Zion might pick one up and then actually go for heavy utility as well. Because he is someone who is very happy to play the SMG, but he's actually going to go the other route this time. And it's just going to be reasonable by considering the circumstances, but at the same time, it's not one you want to be going into when you're 13-5 down. If you lose, you have to eco.
And the crazy thing is, this round as well is where NRG have 3 MAC-10s in play.
Well, yeah, this is where you expect to see a far more aggressive play. I think the apartments are such a strong position for these weapons, because not only can you run and jump out the apartments like you do with the rifle, but you can always hit those shots very easily while falling through the air, and they are going to look to try and overwhelm Glow and Zine. Zine's had a reasonable game. Glow's been very quiet. They need him to try and step up here. Zine will be able to find one from the pit. He now is the main defense on this site. Solo trying to push back in with the AWP, but the whiff is going to mean he falls and the T's take control, and there's upgrade after upgrade on these weapons. They're now up to full rifles.
With that bomb going down as well, Zeph knows the pressure's on him, because he's got to try and make something happen with his CZ. Zeta's been key, but he's a little bit too far away at the moment. He's taking his time. Zeph needs to find some information for Zeta to try and play off, even if they do want to try and go for this, which doesn't seem to be the case. So it's Zeph to try and grab a weapon. Zeta saving for a second round in a row. This will be the 14th on the board for NRG, and last time around, MVP didn't want to play for that 15-15, didn't want overtime. They wanted to go all the way. Do we see that happen again? As he was hoping he could do some damage so that they would go down, but it's not going to be the case. They were ready and waiting for him to push out as the NRG boys make themselves one step closer to going further in this tournament and eliminating MVP.
I think they have to save here. Like, even the force that they'll pull in, unless they're going to just try and win it with straight up pistols. Like, in all honesty, some of the rounds they've won have just been purely off the back of Zeta anyway, but they are going to go for it. I can understand the sort of, like, the daunting task of 15, but I definitely don't think this is the right decision. And it means that pretty much throughout this game, they will not have a full buy on the CT side.
Oh, Daps getting caught with grenades in his hands. Zeta finding the first. Ethan's going to start to push in towards him. Ethan's been playing lights out, and he continues to deliver, but Zeph will finish him off. Zeph, though, low on health, not ideal at all. Zine's found Fugly, though. Breezy in the back lines, though, waiting for him to jump out. Glow's even going to go for it, and what are they doing? There's just no need.
Even still, though, Breezy finding that headshot, I believe that's him now, 30-plus kills on the board, and it's left on to Zeph. Now, one of his opponents is low. Zerk, I was going to say, he has the AWP. If he misses, there's a chance, but Breezy doesn't even give him the time of day. This is one of the most lights-out performances I've seen in a long time. He's playing absolutely out of his mind. And this is more what I expected to see from NRG, just like them having the better players in the server and them just basically strutting. And it's been fantastic from Breezy in this game. And the fact is, I believe that if he had died, we would have also seen Ethan up there with 30 kills as well. It's just that Breezy has been too good.
Too good for MVP. They're using their last tactical timeout. It's kind of a shot in the dark, right? They're just going to buy up some pistols, maybe a couple of SMGs in there, but quite honestly, NRG, they've put the hurt on them in a whole different way than they're used to.
I think this is a spot where, although they probably won't, I would like to just see them do something ridiculous, because all the standard rounds you've done don't work.
Yeah.
Just try and take the fight, because that's the thing. At this point, you're just getting owned, like absolutely owned. So you might as well try and take a little bit of the power away from NRG. Don't allow them the setups. Don't allow them to gather up and push into a site and just try and do something ludicrous. And going aggressively down mid was an attempt. They throw some nades out, and actually they've done quite a lot of damage with them. Not a bad start with utility whatsoever. Daps is only on 4 HP. It's those sort of nades from mid, nades from Banana, and they're actually going to continue with aggression going into the apartments, which is somewhat necessary. Unfortunately, Fugly, a little bit of spam through the wall. Breezy, they've actually managed to finish him off. He will at least die a 10th time. He gets another. That's 2 through the wall.
Just fugly things. Just fugly things. Wow.
Patience. That's what I'd call that.
And a bit of right timing.
I would have got bored very, very quickly, but no, he sits there and just spams the wall. A patient player, which can definitely pay off in scenarios. They do have themselves the man advantage. Now, the couple of low players, it gives you that sort of vibe that there's still a chance here for the CT side with these pistols. Obviously, the bullet rate of that CZ can ruin anyone's day. And the fact is the clock is getting a little bit low. The big problem is the fact that Zeph is alone. He's got nobody there beside him. He's basically got no friends at this point, and well, he's going to have to try and do it all alone. 25 seconds left on the clock. Rotation coming in. He does! Sprays down 2, even retrieves a rifle, goes back for more, but Fugly continues his reign of terror with a 3rd kill onto the board. Knows he has to get the bomb down, has Cirque covering off the smoke. The CTs are going to try and retake this.
Oh, straight up in the grills of Fugly, but now it's a 1v1. Glow versus Cirque, and Glow comes out on top, spraying with that AK through the smoke, goes to retrieve the AWP, and with a little bit of luck, MVP will make it through the night.
Yeah, well played by Zeph.
Is that wasted on you?
Yes.
Oh, clearly don't know your UK garage.
No.
I forget when I'm with these youngsters, these things are going to be wasted on you. Don't worry, we'll educate you. You know the song? DJ Luck, MC Neat, a little bit of luck?
No.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Now I feel really old, Tom. Should have just left it where it was.
To be fair, that may not be age. That may just be me not knowing garage.
Yeah, true, fair.
You don't have to put everything on age.
Even you're trying to make me feel better now about the oldness.
Yeah. I probably still look older than you. Again, last few rounds we've seen some decent utility damage, and the problem is even in these rounds where they've managed to win a round, you wouldn't really look at this buy and say, yep, you know what, MVP have just won themselves a round. They've got 3 SMGs. The fact is, Zeta's got one of them, and he's already run out of utility, and there's still so much time left on the clock. But they're trying to get into these more aggressive positions. They're trying to utilize these weapons where they're valuable. You're not going to really use a UMP from range. Not anymore, at least. They're actually all playing over towards short at the moment. It means they're quite vulnerable from the wraparound of Arch, and it seems like they're more than aware of that. Zeph looking to try and peek just in case that is a scenario. However, it does leave Zeta in a sort of completely solo man position. This is where you'd expect to see him with his AWP. Definitely not a UMP.
And he just spotted them out working their way up banana, so he's going to back into the site. The bomb, though, is still towards T-Spawn. There we go. They've worked. He's like, probably should go get that. Cirque on bomb duty. As Daps tries to work his way in. Checking all the obvious spots. Problem here for Zeta, though. He's playing the exact same position as Zeta was last round. Will it get checked? Zeta gets the first kill, and there's no else.
Look at the rotation.
Oh,
They've been played. The CT side are completely rotated. The only man here is Zine, but he's waited, and he's managed to find a pick. The problem is now the clock as well. If Cirque goes down, the round is over, and he needs to kill this player before he can even go for a plant. That flick was filth, but it makes absolutely no difference. And Fugly, he's trying to save around this unsavable. Oh. He gets 2 kills. It's well played from him there, but Zeta manages to win it from them without really playing a part at all.
Problem there for MVP was, with the amount of time that was there, don't challenge Fugly, because you needed the weapons more than they do.
Yeah. Even still, though, the T's, this is the first time in a while that they've actually been struggling for economy. They've obviously got Cirque still with an AWP. But other than that, not too much in play. It does give a little bit more of a chance for Breezy to try and add to his 33 kills. And obviously a long, long way back. Look at Daps, though. Hugely aggressive. They bypass a lot of the nades, but Zeta straight back with 3 of his own. The man has been fantastic, and Fugly once again left alone, this time only with a CZ. 3 players to find. Again, they can still try and make things costly, and he's even found a rifle for himself. The one thing that is on his side is the clock. The one thing that's really not on his side is the fact that there's 3 men currently sitting on the bot.
Do you know what's crazy about this as well? Zeta is... He's literally the youngest member to join the team in terms of not of his, like, his actual age, but as in he only joined this year, while everyone else has been sticking out for a while. I think Zyme was the next one after that. And it's Zeta is literally on fire. This is not just one game, right? This is a consistent thing that's coming out from him.
Right, so, well, clearly a good addition. Even though he's been in the side for a while. I think that the thing is in the server at the moment. Like, I'm used to at least calling him Mini, but he's removed that. He's grown up.
But he only joined. He left Gosu June this year, so it's not that long being in the team.
Yeah,
really.
That's true. Anyway, definitely a strong addition.
Fuck, he's like, you're not having any of my weapons.
Thing is, that's actually a clever thing to do.
Yeah,
because it's the CT side have still been struggling to just get all of the weapons on the board. You can see them just huddled on the bomb, looking like they're trying to sit on it like an egg and keep it warm. But now they're finally going to go and have a little bit of a hunt around for some weapon upgrades. Zeta, the man who did most of the work, still left with a UMP, but I believe he's found, or is he just thrown it out of the map? No. Went looking for something else and couldn't find it.
He was hopeful. He had a dream. That dream did not come into fruition. And I think now for Zeta, he gets the M4, which makes sense. Fact is, no matter what weapon we've put in his hands, he's been able to deal some damage. He's been able to stop it. How many rounds now as well has he been the key factor in MVP getting the win?
Well, yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous. He is still on 24 kills, even in this map with things not going their way. But they have started to make things at least a little bit more interesting. We're again going to see somewhat of a force coming in from the T side. A few players saving a little bit of extra money, but it's still mostly pistols alongside an AWP. Of course, Breezy with his AK. Now, he has been a man to win them rounds individually. His stats prove that alone. They're going to go for this rush in towards the apps again. Now, Fugly was somewhat of a giant decoy there, just trying to fake out some of the positions. And for the remaining Ts, things are going well. But Zine from the pit is at least clinging on to life. He's got to be careful, though, as Ethan is looking to wrap around. It won't be needed. Cirx found the kill instead, and now Solo, a man who has not had a good performance, is left to try and turn things back. A 1 versus 2, Cirque very low on HP, but Ethan may not have been the star of the show, but he has still been excellent with his performance and trying to clear him out, but he's already switched positions. Cirque also holding in case he goes for the cross, and AWP definitely not the ideal weapon to have in a 1v2, and he won't be given the time of day. Cirque will close it out, a little bit of a resurgence towards the end, but ultimately that was all NRG.
Yeah, the NRG show, and Breezy and Ethan, they were just having a whale of a time, especially on their CT side. You can expect it, right, that we see MVP get a few more rounds as they move on to that CT side themselves, but it just wasn't enough, right? You were literally relying on Zeta and Zine to come in and make it happen. I think the biggest disappointment of Inferno, for me at least, was just Solo. He was not able to step it up. He didn't have the consistency that he'd shown on the previous 2 maps. And, okay, I can't expect a player to play at the optimal top level for every single map, but you expected better than that. And I think definitely the A site was a big weakness for MVP.
Well, yeah, I think also from start to finish, like, this was much more of a no respect showing from NRG. And that's the thing. When a team that is clearly a favorite gets into that rhythm, gets into that vibe, it's very unlikely there's anything you can do. Now, we saw a few rounds come back at the end. I almost want to put that down to complacency, just getting to the point where you're like, okay, we've got this, and then losing a few rounds. So I don't want to take anything away from NRG, or from MVP, but it was just absolute domination.
Just on some of the clips you're seeing there, right? Breezy just pushing down mid round after round. And it wasn't like he's going down there against information getting domed. He was the one doing the action. He was bringing 2 kills, 3 kills.
Well, this was the clip you were talking about as well. Just Ethan, no fear. And it's not like someone was diffusing and he was covering it. That was just them looking to try and take the fight together. It was, a much more dominating performance, basically what we expected over the last few maps. And I think at least from MVP's point of view, they can take away the fact that they at least managed to have a decent showing on Dust 2. At the same time, I still feel like NRG may have just been testing that out. Like, okay, how do we play against a sort of lesser opponent? It's not a map we particularly want to be playing, but let's give it a go. It didn't go well. I don't really expect them to play against anyone else.
And that's the thing, right? MVP are now eliminated from IEM Chicago. It's a tough event to be a part of anyway, right? for them, it's more the experience. We've seen some things that I would certainly say is better than what I've seen in the past on this team, right? So we're seeing shining lights, I'd say, of them stepping up to a level where it's respectable. But you are going up against NRG, and they are heavy hitters. To be fair, I didn't expect to see NRG having to play the elimination best-of-3 match. And now it's their time to play their A game. Now it's the time for them to step up and go through the rest of this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a bit more of a like brutal setup, like with the sort of best-of-1 loss, and then you're into like the high-pressure scenario of the best-of-3. But I think it's at least good that you get to play a best-of-3. The one unfortunate thing for them is that they literally play like one day, and then it's like if you have a bad day, that's it.
Get to enjoy Chicago for the rest of the time, though. The Koreans can just go wandering, take some selfies, go shopping, I don't know, eat Chicago pizza.
See, that's the thing. Most like TAN at least suggest a Korean barbecue, but I don't think that'll really work for them.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be eating Chicago's. Just a bit. But we are going to go to a break, and when we come back, it's going to be time for our last best-of-3 of the day here on the B stream. It's going to be LDLC going up against Renegade. We'll see you shortly.